Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome back to the Mothers of the Believers Stories of Strength and Faith. And I'm your host, Khadija. And I'm so grateful that you've joined me for episode 2 of our journey of exploring the remarkable lives of the woman who stood by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Today, we're going to turn our attention to a woman who she breeds kindness, selflessness, and devotion. Sawda. Her story reminds us of the importance of prioritizing the needs of others and maintaining a sense of joy even in challenging times, which is something really hard to do. This is the second wife of the Prophet. Once again, please bear with me. You know, my Arabic is not fluent or up to par, so just sit here for the knowledge and remember everything that I say. It's up to you, my wonderful family, to go and fact check and learn for your own. I'm only sharing my truth and what I've learned so far. And as a community, we should learn to correct each other with humbleness, honesty, and kindness. Alrighty, so all right, so let's talk about how she became the second wife of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So after the passing of Khadija, peace be upon her, uh, his beloved first wife, aka his OG, his favorite. Well, it's not, I shouldn't say that, right? But let's be for real. This was the first time of immense grief for the Prophet, as he had lost not only Khadija but also his uncle, and both of whom had been pillars of support during the early years of his mission, aka Islam. So Sawda, who was a widow herself, stepped into this role with compassion and understanding, and she brought comfort to the Prophet's household, not through wealth or social standing, but through her warm spirit and dedication. So, one of the most beautiful aspects of Sauda is her character, and her character was like a sense of humor and like lightheartedness. She had a gift for bringing joy to those around her, even during difficult times, which, like I said, it's not an easy thing to do. Her humor and her kindness created almost like a sense of ease for the prophet's household, which showing it shows us that even small acts of joy can have a profound impact over time. But perhaps what stands out most about Sauda is her selflessness, right? I mentioned this earlier. As she grew older, Sauda made a decision that highlight her commitment to harmony and the well-being of others. She voluntarily gave up her time with the Prophet to Aisha, another one of his wives, which we're going to be talking about in the next episodes. Um, Understanding that this would bring peace and balance to their family, this act of self-sacrifice demonstrate the depth of her character and prioritization of the greater good over personal desires. Y'all, let's take a second and go back for a second because let's be for real. Like being kind enough to say to your man like, "Hey, I'm getting up there in age, so go ahead and take you a younger shorty and go ahead and spend more time with her because I'm getting up there in age." So build that relationship with her. Like that's a big act of selflessness. I personally don't know if I can do that myself. So mashallah, Allahumma barik, she is amazing. Sauda's life offers us powerful lessons in selflessness and community service. She teaches us that serving others can take many forms, from offering emotional support to put their needs above your own. And I think like in a world that often emphasizes on individual success and just like, doing your own thing and being successful by yourself, Sada's story reminds us of the beauty and strength in prioritizing the collective well-being. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, deeply appreciated Sauda's contributions, and her legacy is one of that's quiet, steadfast devotion, and her heart centered on bringing comfort to others. Like I personally feel like that it takes a special like kind of woman to just have the strength to be so selfless, right? It's such a beautiful thing. And as we reflect on Sauda's life, let us ask ourselves, how can we bring joy and comfort to those around us? How can we prioritize the needs of our families, our friends, our communities, even when it requires a personal sacrifice? So I want you guys to really think about that today. And I want to go into something else. I always want to leave you guys with a reflection or journal entry, right? So today's journal entry, I want you guys to think about a time when you brought joy to someone or prioritized their well-being over your own. Reflect on the impact of that act, not only on the other person, but also on yourself. How did it make you feel? And what steps can you take to bring more kindness and selflessness into day, your daily lives? Um, so that's the reflection that I want you guys to think about throughout the week and try to act on. And then also, I want you guys to do a journal entry of the week if you guys are interested. Write about someone in your life who has been a source of comfort and support. How can you illuminate their kindness and their selflessness? What acts of service can you commit to this week to make a difference in someone else's lives, just like that person made a difference in yours? And lastly, I want to leave us with a Quran verse to think about throughout this week or throughout this day. 59 verse 9 says, "And they give them preference over themselves, even though they are in privation, and whoever is protected from the stinginess of his soul, it is those who will be the successful." Mm. That beautiful verse captures the spirits of selflessness and prioritizing others. That is the definition of the second wife of the Prophet Sawda character. So, once again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Mothers of the Believers. And in our next episode, we're going to be exploring the life of Aisha, the third prophet, the third, oh, astaghfirullah, the third wife of the Prophet, peace be upon him, a woman who knows her intellect, she's knowledgeable, and she has stellar leadership capabilities. So until then, may Allah's peace, mercy, and blessing be upon you all. And thank you so much for being here. Wassalamu alaikum. Bye.